Well, I'm Marianne Redis, and this is my first speech. It's the icebreaker, so hopefully you'll get to know a little bit about me. Okay. So, good morning, everyone. The Greek philosopher Heraclitus said, "No man ever steps into the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man." My icebreaker speech is designed to provide you with an introduction to who I am today. I can tell you the scaffolding of my life, the things that are set and that will never change. I was born in Youngstown. I have 8 brothers and sisters.
Wow.
My ancestry is Irish and German. I attended St. Nicholas Grade School and Cardinal Mooney High School. I moved away when I was 21. I wanted to move ever since I was 14 years old and visited my Army brat cousin at Fort Belvoir, Virginia. There, I met kids who lived in Germany, and Panama, and Hawaii, and they seemed to have a savvy about them and a wider world view than I had from a Northeast Ohio steel town. I lived in Southern California for about 18 years, where I met my husband, got married, had 3 children. I was widowed at a young age of 37, and 2 of my 3 children had passed as well. After California, I lived in Spokane, Washington, for about 30 years before moving back to my childhood home. Those are facts that cannot change. But who I am is much more fluid. And with every new experience and every new encounter, I grow. If you haven't already guessed it, I love philosophy. When I decided to go to college later in life, I originally planned to be a journalist, but after so much loss, I chose to wrestle with the deeper questions of existence, and I studied philosophy and religion. My general studies bachelor's degree was from Gonzaga University, and I carried a concentration in pastoral counseling and human resource management. I knew I needed to confront the big questions, but I also needed something marketable, and I knew I wasn't going to be a pastor. So I had to support my family. I took courses I was interested in, and then I went to my advisor and I said, "Here, mold this into a degree." That's not the only thing I've done backwards in my life, but those are stories for another time. I have a grief educator certificate, and I'm currently working on a grief coaching certificate. I've spoken at local churches in Spokane on the topic of grief, and I did a TEDx Spokane talk called Growing Through Grief. I'm a firm believer that we have choices within the scaffolding, and those choices define us much more than the structure itself. After my son passed, I worked to expand a nonprofit organization, currently called the Childhood Cancer Coalition, then it was called Candlelighters. They support families of children with cancer and provide hands-on services during treatment, after treatment, and with bereavement when needed. I still volunteer with the grief program. During my time as executive director, I gave many speeches at events and fundraisers. Sometimes those speeches were awkward, and other times they were powerful. I believe that practice, believing in the message, and getting acquainted with awkwardness are crucial ingredients in this process. I look back at my TEDx talk, and I can see a powerful message that could have been delivered more impactfully with better coaching. When I attended Lit Youngstown's event and met Gary, and heard about the local Toastmasters, it rekindled a desire in me to improve my public speaking. I had joined a Toastmasters group briefly in Spokane, but I was so busy with my job that it was difficult to really commit to the program. I will be speaking this fall at the annual gala for the Childhood Cancer Coalition. I started that event many years ago, and it has now tripled in size. And I really, really want to hit it out of the park and raise a ton of money for them. This is a full circle moment for me. The event will be on September 26th, which happens to be the 27th anniversary of my son's passing, and the reason I began that work to begin with. I also want to expand my public speaking opportunities in the future. So hopefully, I broke some ice today with this brief introduction, and I haven't been too persnickety. I was thinking persnickety. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to working together as we all navigate the changing river of life.